for the final exam. Now, once you qualify the final exam, there is a pre-placement orientation program which is 12 days. Again, it is good to have, it is desirable. Whereas a minimum 3 years work experience is essential after clearing the final to become the associate member of the institute. So this period is very crucial for you people, because once you get to, you are fresh. You need to put in some years into industry. You get some feel, you get the diversified activities what are happening across the sectors, so that you can become a mature, you can add to the economy of the country. So then you become a associate members. Next slide, please. Now, what are the career prospects as CMA? So congratulations, you are qualified cost accountant now, cost and management accountant now. You are ready to enter the industry. Now let me tell you, now since you are a qualified professional, obviously you can expect some challenges also. There is no cakewalk in the life also. So there are two kinds of avenues open for you. One is you can go into the service, and other one is practice. Now for service, it can be industry. Now industry, it can be manufacturing industry like auto manufacturing, chemical manufacturing, pharma, whatever. There are many industries available. So either you can go to the manufacturing industry, or you can offer the service industry like telecom industry, banking and insurance. There is no dearth of offers in this particular area. These are the upcoming areas. You may not be knowing, perhaps insurance penetration is hardly 5% in India till date. So now you can guess what is the scope available for you. The moment you clear your final exam, you are eligible to enter the job market, and you can join any industry where you can actually add the value by application of your knowledge and experience which you would have gained. And next slide, please. So what are the services which you can add to the industry? Now there is something called cost and management accounting. Now in cost and management accounting, every organization has a particular cost structure. Like as you know, it's if you go through the cost sheets, it's material, labor, and overhead and whatnot. But apart from that, there are other factors also like time cost. There is the cost of special skills which the company need to hire for carrying out its activities. Like in case of engineering industry, they require a special kind of engineers who can actually have a special skill like marine engineers and all. So cost and management accounting actually focuses on these particular special activities. Here you can work out what are the costs involved, what are the probable risks there, what are the benefits, and you can work out you can identify the gray areas, and you can work out the cost benefit analysis. Here you can give a proper advices to the management like how to chalk out the future growth of plan. Now coming to the financial accounting and direct taxation, again for financial accounting, it is which you have been doing from an 11th standard, is financial accounting, debit, credit and whatnot. And there is one more good area open for you is now GST. In 2017 it was old now, and definitely by today we would have got a good hold over it. So CMAs are welcome in these areas also, because they are the knowledgeable people. They have put in so many years in the industry. Even your academics, good syllabus is covered. So again, you can go for the specialization in direct or indirect taxation. Plus, there are customs act, there are excise and service. They are still there for selected industries. So there is a huge scope in industry also. Even if you are in a job, there is a huge scope that you can add value to the organization. The financial management basically hovers around how you manage the finance of the organization where you are working. Now, typically, this job is generally handled by the chartered accountant. But let me tell you, even cost accountants are equally knowledgeable. They are equally equipped to take the challenge in financial management. It basically involves like how to manage the funds, how to raise the funds with the private equity or capital, venture capitals. There are IPOs and all. So financial management is basically analyzing what are the sources of funding available, and what are the how to do the working capital management, how to do fund management. Now CMEs are always welcome in these areas also, because they are good in this particular areas. Business analysis and project feasibility study. This basically comes into picture when the organization wants to go for a new venture, like tying up with some new company, some abroad overseas company, or company wants to go for a new product launch, company wants to go for a new technical know. So here, particularly that we need to analyze the what are the project nitty-gritties. Now, business analysis does basically what are the financials of the upcoming that new company where you are going to join hands, what are the other market options available in the market, and he carries out the studies vis-a-vis what are the industry norms, plus project feasibility study gives him the better input of the resources or other problems of the upcoming projects. So here CMA also, since he has put in so many years and basically, he's perceived to be a knowledgeable person. He has got a huge scope while preparing project feasibility study also. He can head in many companies as a project department. He has got a good opportunity after putting in some years. He can become the head of the project department. The capital market analysis and fund flow. This basically talks about the share market like equities, IPOs, debentures, and there are other sources of funding which you can raise from the capital market. Now here again, this is a one more area for CMS. We can get into the nitty-gritties of the what are the nitty-gritties of the various options available, like venture capital, for private equity, what are the merits and demerits of IPOs, what are the other sources of huge funding, what is the equipment financing. These are basically these area cost and management can take over as a part of his career. Banking, insurance, and financial. As I told you, insurance is hardly 5% penetration in India. You can call it a sunrise sector, though not actually a sunrise sector, but still you are lagging behind compared to European countries and other countries. And so I see great opportunities in insurance, in banking and financial institutions. Like if you are along with CME, if you are exposure to actuarial science, probably we can add more value to the organization because we can actually estimate what is the life of the human being, what is the life of the resources like plant and machine and other, and you can do the better analysis and give management what these are the solutions available, and you can put forth also what are the implementable solutions. So management can give better fruits from you. Internal audit and control. Internal audit is a, I can say it's a what we call a lifeblood of every organization. See, every organization has got many systems in place. Like you take any function for that matter, procurement, finance accounts, manufacturing, HR, and whatnot. Now, internal audit ensures that all the systems that are that have been introduced in the company, they are in place. There are no leakages. All the leakage, if at all there, he has to suggest what are the how to plug in those loopholes. So internal audit actually gives the exposure to the entire organizational function to the auditors, and he can develop the better control system. In fact, he can suggest altogether a new system which could be a paradigm shift, because in small organizations like MSME, they are not even exposed to what is internal audit or not. So here, if you get an opportunity once you qualify, then you can have your own internal audit and control system in place. You can advise management, go for this particular system. You can have a technology in place also. You can take help of upcoming technology also. Risk analysis and forensic audit. This is a very interesting field. As you know, any business by default there are some inbuilt risk, like product obsolescence, leaving a particular employee, then socio-economic conditions, like you can say the financial policy of the company and whatnot. Similarly, in case of forensic audit basically concerned with the investigation of books of records from identification of audits or irregularities in finance, basically. So it's a special field, but since CMS is capable of handling this kind of assignments also, I think again I see a huge scope for you people. The moment you qualify, if you get an opportunity, you can join in risk management organization, even forensic audit, where you can pursue the further courses to have a specialization for in this particular area. So there is a huge scope. Data analytics basically related to every organization chunks thousands of lakhs of crores of line items while processing this data. Especially in big organizations like 50,000 crores, 60,000 crores company, there is huge data to be chunked every day. But they have a good ERP in place. Most of the companies have ERP in place. But here, CMAs are expected to put down that data not in Excel sheet basically. It can be done in Excel sheet also, but there are ancillary softwares also available in the market. You can take down the data, you can define the what are the parameters for analytics. So that particular data can be downloaded, another analysis, and the system throws some alerts or some highlights, wherein CMS can actually study that and you can come to some good conclusions. And the management can definitely work upon it and find out what are the possible remedies available for these problems or opportunities. ERP system, ERP and implementation system. Cost and management has got accountant has got exposure to all the areas during his academics, also while pursuing his professional exam. So he has got a good exposure to the finance, accounts, manufacturing, production, procurement, HR, quality assurance, and whatnot, even logistics also. So most of the companies nowadays, while designing ERP system, or like for example SAP, SAP or maybe SAP is a good software working in most of the companies. Today they have got 4,000. I mean, I'm quoting the numbers 2 years back. They have got 4,000 chartered accountants and almost same number cost accountants, because those are the people who actually study the system and give big solutions to the organization. In fact, many times client himself is not aware of how his system flows. So here that cost accountant can sit with the implementation partner. There are many implementation partners like Wipro, IBM, and whatnot. So if the cost accountant is representing some organization, he can sit with the implementation partner and explain to him what are the flows, what are the functions in this company, so that mapping becomes easy and output becomes really fruitful output. Next slide, please. Okay. Okay. Let us say you are not interested in going for a job. I have seen many aspirants who do not wish to go into the job right from the beginning. So, he has some aspirations like become the good knowledge sharer. So here also there is an opportunity. You don't want to go into job, doesn't matter. You can go for academic. You can become a professor in accounting, finance, costing, taxation, against a direct, indirect income tax, you can GST. So you can be a full-time or part-time professor. You can pursue that. It's also respected, very respected profession. So you can go for that. Then you can go for the coaching classes, teaching. In fact, you can have your own classes and you can become a private teacher. Basically, once you complete this profession, there is a huge scope for upcoming students who are actually not mature to that particular subject. So here you can become a professor and you can share your valuable knowledge with them and bring it to the level so that they can be absorbed by the industry outside. So I see a huge scope here also. In many cases, you work as a visiting faculty in many management institutes like IIMs are there. There's a Wellington Institute part of the. Couple of my friends are working there as visiting faculty. In fact, they are attached to many institutes. They are the full-time, they are the cost and management accountants like me. And in fact, just to share with you, a couple of years back, I was also associated management institute. But since there was a workload, I had to compromise on that, and now I am focusing fully on the practice. So there is a huge opportunity for cost and management. You can join any management institute. You can speak on the special subjects. There is a shortage of talented professors in the various institutes. So if you do good, definitely you will be invited by many management institutes as well. You can see the pillar of their organization, their management institute. And one more good thing is that when you are doing this professors and teaching and even in job, you can go for the pursuing doctorate in any subject. You can go for the costing or accounting. Point I am trying to stress here is, since you are already equipped with the knowledge, experience in the industry, you can go for the doctorate and go for the more specialization, because once you complete this doctorate, there is a large scope in the market. You can be employed by overseas institutions also. There are people who are visiting faculties in overseas management institutes. So these are the opportunities available for you. Next slide. Now, if you are into practice, there is no dearth of offers again. Instead of working for one organization, you can get attached to the many organization. Basically, advisory services which you can provide is cost optimization. Now, cost optimization, let me tell you, cost optimization is basically talks about how to optimize the cost. See, in earlier days, it was a cost plus profit is equal to selling price. The seller has a liberty to decide the selling price as per his views and conditions because there was no competition and the number of customers were huge. But now the table has changed, especially with this pandemic. Now people, the equation has changed. Now it is sales minus profit is equal to cost. What is that? Because sales price is determined by the market forces. Customers decide the selling price, because there are multiple competitors in the market. If you are selling a particular product for 100 rupees, I can tell you there are 10 your competitors who can sell it for 10 or 90 rupees. So there is a gap of 10 rupees. So there is what is the option left with you? Again, every businessman wants to retain his profit. Whatever profit is earning, he wants to retain irrespective of what is the selling price. So once your selling price is capped, your profit is that way it is capped. So what is left is cost. Now here, the only option left with the organization is to control his cost. Now what is cost optimization? Cost optimization is basically systematic study of all the resources, money, machine, material, and whatnot, even human skill also. The cost optimization basically focuses on optimal or maximum utilization of available resources to generate the most of the output at very reasonable price. So cost optimization is again is a huge scope. Even if you join an organization, you go to any organization, every organization is not complacent with their existing cost. So every time they keep on pushing you, reduce score, but that will not happen every time. So cost optimization helps you to decide what is the actual cost structure and how to fit the resources, in particular that framework. Financial and business advisory for startups. Due to this pandemic, all these, especially these MSMEs and startups have suffered a lot. They have, in fact, any organization, however big it is, it has come to the need. Actually, their backbone is broken. I hope I am not exaggerating. So here, by providing advisory services, especially to startups and MSME, you can suggest them the better ways of managing the business in terms of operations, in terms of finance, and even human resource management. Then you can say the compliances also. Cost and management can definitely add value here. You can say that. See, MSMEs are basically they focus on their doing business as such, just making the profit. They try to ensure their survival. That's it. But that does not help in long term. So here, cost and management as a use to we can say, like I can suggest the better way of doing the business, how to use the resources and how the cost structure you should do. So that kind of advisory you can give. Project feasibility study and financing is the same thing like we studied in the previous slide. For every project, while entering into that project, there is a project feasibility study carried out by the organization. We need to identify what are the problem areas and what are the financing of this project can easily be handled by the CEO. So you can definitely add values. Inventory management basically is management of inventory. See, inventory, since you are not exposed to industry yet, inventory basically decides the bottom line of the organization. If you see your P&L account, closing stock valuation, so this is very important. So when you say inventory management, it includes everything. What is the economic order quantity? Then we actually start from the procurement, like what is the what is the economic order quantity? What is the reorder level? At what price is the inventory material should be procured, and what way it can be stored. Again, it comes that insurance comes into picture, that rent comes into picture. Everything falls under inventory management. So cost accountant can suggest a better way of how to procure the inventory, how to store it, how to utilize it. There is something called just-in-time concept going on in the industry. It means management does not believe in holding the inventory. So whenever it is required, maybe some 8 or 10 days before that, it can be purchased immediately. However, there are some industries where the stocking of material is necessary. So 2 months or 3 months inventory has to be stored. So there is no option, but inventory management again is a good scope. You can suggest the better ways, better pricing, how to handle the insurance agencies and all. Monitoring MIS. MIS is basically management information system. Every organization has management information system with respect to all this area, be it production, be it finance and account, be it quality assurance, everything. So cost and management accountant can help the company or organization to develop the proper MIS system. In fact, many companies are going for the automation of MIS also. They can have a parallel software which can import the data from the core system of the company. It can take the input from there, it can put it in the system, and system will generate a report. Now again, it's a cost and management account is a good opportunity since he knows each and everything of every function of the organization. He can help the consultant to develop such a system so that it can serve all the purposes of the company. So again, it's an opportunity. Maintenance of cost records. Those who have already started pursuing costing ICMA, it should be every company having 35 crores turnover. They are supposed to maintain cost records. There are two things. One is cost records and cost audits. So having 35 crores turnover, they need to maintain a cost record. The audit need the company may not go for the audit because it is not mandatory under the statute. But maintenance of cost record, this becomes the core competency of the CMA. It can help the company in identifying the format, identifying the areas, identifying the ways of maintaining the cost records, which would go a long way in serving many purposes. Like these reports are to be submitted to various agencies like income tax, GST authorities, and even local authorities also. So here CMA can design the system which would be multi-purpose. It can be used by everyone, and hence management can get rid of the harassment by these agencies. So again, it's a good opportunity for him. Financial accounting support up to finalization. Since again you are not exposed to the industry, let me tell you, every chartered account when he finalizes reports, he needs to comment on two things which are relevant to the CMA. One is what is the cost audit status of the company? Is cost audit applicable to the company? If yes, what about the cost audits? Is there report available? And second one is what is the internal audit system? The internal audit is this function is often is being given to the cost and management accountant. So these remark assumes a great importance. Actually, chartered accountant or finance statutory auditor relies on this report. Unless cost auditor mentions this particular two lines, he will not sign the final report. So whether cost records are in place, if at all cost audit is not applicable. If cost audit is applicable, has it been carried out? What are the qualifications? What are the plus points that have been highlighted by the cost auditor? So all these opportunities you can grab once you get into the practice. Next slide. Same as in practice, there are audits and compliance, as I mentioned, cost audit. So where turnover exceeds the 100 crores, the cost audit is mandatory, irrespective of the industry, whether the particular industry wants or not. Cost audit is mandatory, which is fortunately to be carried out by the cost accountant only. So CMA just gear up for it, and there are a lot of opportunities for you. Internal audits now, CMAs have also been allowed to carry out the internal audits. So 3-4 years back that notification came. Now CMAs can also do the internal audits also. So again, there is an opportunity. GST audit. GST audit is also applicable. CMA is also eligible to carry out the GST audit. Now this audit is to be submitted to the GST authorities. There is something called GSTR 9 and 9A. These are the two returns which are the basis for GST audit. Now this audit also has to be in place because this is a recently started subject. So government is also looking at CMS to carry out such audit in good for this is good faith, and probably you can submit the report to the government, and government can work out the other factors like GDP related or economic policy, financial policy. These are the basis for the government to work out to take some decisions. So again, CMAs are in picture. Process and operational audits. Now, it's I mean, you should consider yourself lucky. Basically, these process and operational audits carried out by CMAs nowadays. although chartered accountants do their financial accounting and their scope is limited up to accuracy of debit and credit, but cost CMA's work start post financial audit. CMA actually goes into each and every detail of the operation like labor hours, machine hours, then material consumption, what is the normal loss, what are the abnormal items that are affecting the product, that are affecting the profitability of the organization. Now CMAs are, since they are equipped, the part of their curriculum includes the detailed study of all these functions. Definitely CMA as a great scope, they can add a value to the organization by carrying out the process and operation audit frequently. If you are into practice, you get a exposure to the versatile industries, you can get into service industry, you can get into manufacturing, again in manufacturing, say, you can get into say pharma and chemicals and whatnot, food industry. So again, there is a scope for CMAs. Inventory audit. Inventory audit is basically considered the most important audit in any organization. Because as I said, inventory in balance sheet and P&L account defines the profitability, decides the profitability of the organization. So every organization, it is mandated to carry out the physical stock take in their factories and in their godowns, in their branches. So inventory audit area is also open for CMS. It is basically what is the inventory available in the on a particular day in the godown, and the physical stock take is compared with the what is the stock as per system. Every company has some or the other system in place. So CMA, what we can take the physical stock, we can compare it with the system stock and work out what are the differences, what are the reasons for that, and what is the appropriate action, whether write-off to be taken or write-back to be taken. But these decisions are normally taken by the top management, but definitely management can rely on CMA as internal audit, as an inventory audit. Fixed assets audit and verification is also generally carried out every 3 or 4 months or at least 6 months. Because whatever assets appearing in the company's fixed asset register in balance sheet, that has to be corroborated by the physical presence. So here also CMA can take up the assignment. He can do the multiple sites of the if the company has say 3-4 sites. He can do it. He can carry out the physical verification. He can submit the report to the management. These are the physical inventories of machineries and equipment that are available. Whereas these are the system stock. So these are the system inventories. So management can take a decision like how to go about it, where the assets are. Sometimes management needs to scrap certain asset. Sometimes asset is not available physically, but it still keeps on appearing in the system. So here auditor can highlight these points because this particular asset should have been here, but not there. The management decide, oh, if this was written off, this has totally been written off. Why it is still appearing in the system? But if it is physically not found, there is a chance of theft also. So these are the areas which are available to the CMA, and he can make presentations to the manager. Next. As I mentioned in previous slides, ERP implementation. See, there are two things. If you are working for a non-IT company, you can sit with the implementation partner and you can give the functional support. Like what are the functions that are working in the organization, like as I mentioned, manufacturing, quality assurance, logistics, selling and distribution, finance and account, HR and all. So you can represent your company and sit with the implementation partner and you can design a beautiful system which will serve all the purpose. But if you are not into the company, if you are working as if you are into practice, probably you can the company can hire you because since you are putting so many years, you are enriched with the knowledge. That those company explain those systems to you, and in turn you can sit with the implementation partner because company cannot spare its resources. You may not be while designing the system. Company needs to spare some top official who can sit with the implementation partner and explain the entire process. But company hardly can afford to do it. So now, of late, the company has started hiring functional experts like us, and you can sit with you can represent the company, and you can sit with the implementation partner, so that company can get a company can have a good ERP system in place. Designing cost and management information system, again, it's a good opportunity for CMA. There are many organizations who do not have their own system. In fact, this is the outsourced function in many companies. We are also handling a couple of companies, MIS. because those companies do not have sufficient staff, they do not have sufficient skill and knowledgeable people. So these many companies outsource these activities. So we can periodically capture the data from their system. You can have a separate kind of a software where the data can be put in, and you can throw a good results to the company, good indications, good alerts, good moot points, so that company can take a remedial action. If there is a scope for further improvement, definitely those steps are welcome. Automation of MIS. Now, automation of MIS is basically goes very handy with the large organization, uh, because see they work for one company having some 50,000 crore turnover. Surprisingly, we did not have proper MIS function. So that function, that particular assignment came to us, and we are designing a separate parallel package which extracts the data from that system. And that now that earlier when there were 72 man hours were being utilized by the company, but now believe me, with the automation now it's a matter of now 50 to 60 minutes in one day. That's all. So when the team comes, they press one button to get the result. So what I'm trying to say, automation of MIS gives opportunity for the management to focus on actual analysis. Otherwise, that collation and compilation of data, extracting data from Excel, the multiple sources, it takes longer time. And then put it on Excel, then do the permutations, combinations, and whatnot. The automation of function helps the company doing the basic working, prepare the worksheet. So the top management can sit with the Excel sheet and final data and go for the decision making. Certification certification as far as CMAs are concerned, there are two certifications available at the moment. There is a cash flow certification. Cash flow certification is basically when the company is engaged in, suppose the company, a particular product is sold in the market as well as it is used as a input for further process in the same company. So when the same product goes to the next stage, it becomes a captive consumption. So in case of a captive consumption, government authority, basically GST authorities require one certificate from the CMA saying that whatever cost being sent to the next stage is in order, is perfect, is correct, is reasonable, considering all the resources that are available, all the processes, all the methods being followed by the company. The CMA has to certify that certificate and certify that particular document, submit to the GST authority if it is demanded. There are other agencies also like income tax and professional tax also. They are also demanding certificate, but important thing is that it has to be certified CMA only. So again, it's a unique field available for us. It's you can say the monopoly for us. So you can do it. You can take it up when you have to practice. Assurance certificate means where the cost audit is not applicable, just maintenance of cost records is available. Here the company the cost auditor can issue a kind of assurance certificate. It is nothing but a kind of a cost auditor, but it is not a bunch of 50, 60 people. It's just one certificate where is cost auditor assures that the records, that is manufacturing records or inventory related records, financial records are in place, and whatever cost worked out by the company, what are the cost of the product which the company is selling in the market, they are in place, and there is nothing big variation as far as actuals are concerned. So this assurance certificate can also be issued only by the CMA. So again, as I see, it's a good opportunity. Next. Now, I'm not going to talk much about this new addition because probably people are not aware. One is insolvency professional. This is basically something related to NCLAT. So there is a dispute between debtors. Some debtors are not making payment. Probably the company can approach to the NCLAT. I'm talking of big debtors, by the way, from whom the money is due. So CMA has a role to play. Registered valuation. Many times business valuations to be carried out while going for the new ventures or tie-up. So CMA can do it. Cooperative society audit is a new area open for some couple of years back. It was open to us. So there are many upcoming societies. There are now the India, many cities are becoming smart cities. There are many cooperative societies are coming up. So CMAs can take up this as a profession also. They can carry out society audit. They can do the society maintenance also. Now the RERA consultancy. This is basically related to the construction industry. See, earlier there was no regulator available for the construction industry. So it is said that builder used to quote prices or whatever they want. There was no commitment from the builder as to the completion of the project handing over property to the final customer. So RERA has come into picture now. There is a legal framework designed by the RERA wherein the now builders are supposed to work. Again, CMAs can design the structure keeping into mind what are the legal requirements, what the statute says. So CMA can help the builders fraternity to design particular system and keep the thing in place so that there is no non-compliance and the things are in place. Everything. So again, of course, it avoids it helps in avoiding legal actions and further repercussion. So these are some new additions. Next. So that's all from our side. So this is the final slide. Behind every business, this is the since you have seen CM, you can proudly say, see this particular slogan is available to applicable to you also. Those who are coming up with their aspirations for the cost and management accountant. Every business success, your success is our business. It means when you cater to the industry, or even if you are into practice, that success of the business rests on you. It is not we, but you, but we are you. So both of us can jointly hand and go ahead with our business ventures. And finally, thank you for being patient, for listening to us. So all the best. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an informative and illustrious explanation.
Sure.
So, with your permission, can we take questions from students?
Sure. Please go ahead.
So, I received some questions on a WhatsApp chat.
Yeah.
Can I repeat them, please? So, can we do CA and ICWA at the same time?
Sorry, come again.
So, can we do CA and ICWA at the same time?
Unfortunately, even today also that chartered accountants are having upper hand about CAs. But as I told you, CME is a altogether different thing. Where the work of CA ends, work of CME starts. Going into the process and going to nitty-gritties of the various functions. CS basically prepares the P&L account, balance sheets, and submission to the income tax authorities and whatnot. That's okay, but we must take pride in saying those numbers are basically vouched or certified by cost accountants, because as I told you, he actually vouches each and every function. He gives the comfort to the chartered accountants so that he can sign his final report and gives you the various sentences. So I still feel, and within no time they will be at par now. Okay.
Okay. So I have one more question.
Yeah.
So is it as difficult as CA?
See, actually, it depends. Like, if you ask me frankly, it may be difficult. See, compared to CA, don't compare. Basically, these are a parallel profession. So, in first place, I would say, please let us not compare. Tomorrow, if you ask me whether pursuing medicine is difficult and CA, so I would not answer that question. These are the different because
shall I answer this question, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
See, the approach of CAs and CMAs are totally different, if you ask me personally. CAs, for that matter, are more, the emphasis is more on the compliance. And as far as the CMAs are concerned, the emphasis is more on operational analysis. See, practically, the CMA role starts where the CA's role ends. Whenever we talk about cost audit, for that matter, cost audit starts after financial audit gets over. So we are given the P&L. This is the P&L. Now you do whatever you want to do with the P&L. See, P&L, financial P&L shows a profit of say 100 rupees. We will go ahead and say how that 100 rupees profit has come. When I say how, see, 100 rupees profit is given by 20 products. Say, for example, product A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So out of those 20 products, 10 products may be much profitable. So the point I want to make is, see, that our approach is totally different of looking at the P&L. See, both of us are giving the profits, both of us are taking us through the P&L, but the approach is completely different. I hope I have clarified.
Maureen, after you take one more question which is there in the chat box, then I'll just say one or two things.
Maureen, unmute yourself. Maureen, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah, Maureen, take the next, whoever is going to take the next question in the chat box, do that.
Oh, yes, ma'am. So if we do MCOM in accounts, so is cost accounts necessary?
See, if you ask me frankly, if you are going for a MCOM, if you're really inclined to go for the MCOM, CMA is altogether a different profession. So if you ask me now, why don't you pursue CMA after a BCom only? Why do you want to go for MCOM? It could be additional qualification, that's all. It will increase the number of degrees under your belt. But if you are doing MCOM, they probably would be focusing on multiple studies like CMA as well as MCOM. So I suggest you go for the CMA only and focus on that. If you get a time, you can try to come out with the flying colors. You can go for the rank. The point I'm trying to stress is why do you want to go for MCOM? It is like BCom. I mean, with due respect to MCOM, but hardly there is any difference between BCom and MCOM. Rather, you go for a CMA.
See, what I suggest is we will go for something which will add value to our knowledge. See, MCOM, I think, is a subset of CMA, I would say. So, frankly speaking, as far as the value addition is concerned, there is hardly any scope as far as the MCOM is concerned if you are already doing the CMA. So, instead of that, what I suggest is you can do something in banking, you can do something in insurance, probably you can do something in internal audit for that. See, those are the streams which are really going to add value to your career. That would add value to your CV and give more weightage when you go for whatever choice you make. So do something which would add value.
You can try one parallel profession also. You can go for a kind of some forensic audit also. You can try. You can try for some insurance related.
Many avenues.
Sorry, there are many avenues. Yeah. Now somebody has thrown question after TY BCom. Can I get a direct entry into intermediate? Swati Gupta.
Yes, you can.
But there is a percentage threshold, isn't it? Okay,
50%.
now you get a direct entry. Sorry, you get a direct entry. Yeah.
But my suggestion is rather than waiting for the TY BCom, though we have done the same thing, I would suggest let us start after 12th immediately.
Yeah.
We know many people who are cost accountants before graduate.
And let us accept that during college days that FY, SY, TY generally do not focus on college studies. So why not to pursue this profession? So by the time you complete your BCom, complete your graduation, you would be at least intermediate cleared. You can go for the final. So my suggestion is let us start from the 12th standard itself and try to clear as much as possible by BCom before BCom.
Yes, and here I will like to add, see, we wanted Mr. Uday and Mr. Hemchandra to share the post-qualification scenario, because that is something we don't have access to. This was there on the ground, real experience over the last 20 plus years. And at the starting level, now all of you are much smarter than all of us put together also. So Google search me Institute of Cost Accountants of India. That is the institute giving this degree and qualification. So the entry level details, I mean the exam related details, how many papers, what is the syllabus, which are the subjects to be done in groups, intermediate, final, all that you can access on their website. So, we did not want the focus to be on that aspect. All of you can have a look at that directly on the website. And this gave you an idea that how vast and how diverse the field is open afterwards, and you can see that
I have shared the website www.icma.in.
So there it is on the chat box, and you all can take that down, of course, and have a look at all these other exam related details. And the point which I think they were all trying to make is that each one of us has certain aptitude or certain areas of interest. So after doing the basic cost accounting qualification, we can choose, from such a vast array of disciplines कि कहाँ हमको interest या aptitude है. We don't have to narrow down. We don't have to be worried कि मुझे नहीं पसंद आएगा या I may not be able to be successful or whatever. You have a wide range, so that is the focus, was to give you कि after doing your qualification, these are the areas open, and prior to that, what you need to study, etc., that you can, they've given you a broad initial cover up, but more details on the website.
Thank you, ma'am, for the information. And thank you, sir, for answering all our queries.
Thank you.
Yeah, Maureen, continue. Yes.
Hello, Maureen had some network issue. Maureen?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Carry on. Now, I think whatever doubts or questions the students had, they have been addressed to by the speakers. So go ahead now.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for answering all our queries patiently. And finally, I would invite Tanmay Tambe to propose formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you. On behalf of Bhavan Sajarimal Somani College of Arts and Science and Jairam Das Patel College of Commerce and Management Studies, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all those who have made this orientation lecture possible. At the outset, I would like to convey my special thanks to the guest speaker, Mr. Uday Joglekar and Hemchandra Karekar, for an extremely enriching and informative session. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invite to conduct this lecture.
Our
I will
pleasure,
take
sir.
this. I
It's
will
our
take.
honor, actually. Tanmay, it's our honor actually to be there, to get associated with people like you now.
Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you.
You-
I will take this opportunity to sincerely thank our principal professor, Dr. S.V. Rathod, for his motivation and encouragement to organize such educational activities. My thanks are due to Dr. Varsha Malla, Chairperson of Commerce Association, for conducting such a guidance lecture. I would like to extend my gratitude to Miss P.A. Merchant, who is the inspiration behind all our efforts. Her inputs, time and again has been indeed valuable to the Commerce Association. And also a big thank you to all the teachers of the accountancy and commerce departments for the continuous supports and efforts in organizing this lecture, and also to my team for giving wholehearted support in such activity. Finally, I wish to place on record my deep appreciation towards all my student participants, friends whose involvement in such large number has made this event a great success. And lastly, one important announcement. Feedback link is in chat box. All are required to fill the same. That will be considered as your attendance in lecture. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Mr. Uday and Mr. Hemchandra, special thanks from my side for having
Anytime for the college.
for such painstaking efforts developing the PPT, and with all your busy work schedules to have devoted so with so much love and affection also, I would say, your inputs for our students and being here with us. We are hoping that the pandemic clears, and we would love to have you with us on the premises as well in the near future.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Bindu ma'am, we can now end the meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks
you,
a lot.
everyone.
Thank you very much, Bindu ma'am, for being our technical support.
It's my pleasure, ma'am.
Not at all.
Yeah, so it went off very smoothly.
Yes.
Thanks to all your coordination.
Thank you.